Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, all praises and the is due to Yahweh Bahashem HaMashiach wa Malak Yahweh Shai. Secondly, this is Brother Yardan, WFI Detroit, coming back at you with yet another cold cut. Today in this cold cut, the topic will be who is running the show. All right, who is in control at the very end of the day? Now, it's damn sure not you that's watching this. It's not your supervisors at work. It's not your wife. It's not your husband in a sense. At the end of the day, the Most High is controlling all things. If you really want to find out and understand who runs everything behind the scenes and who's allowing this person to move and that person to move, you have to realize this is truly the Most High. And you'll know that as soon as we bring out these precepts and, of course, examples to paint the picture for Israel. Now, although you may hear us say, Esau is running this world and then we're going to run it. No, the Most High is controlling everything, and this world is always in the palm of his hand. This is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 19. You have to understand that the Lord our Father, Yahweh, he has many titles, right? One of his titles are the Ancient of Days, right? So he's before days were even a thing, right? Try to wrap your head around that. Good luck. This is Jeremiah chapter 51 verse, also that's 17, right? Let's get the true understanding of this precept. Every man is brutish in his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image. And that's a precept to use when you're speaking to Christians and or even Muslims, right? Because they all constructed, or what's the word I'm looking for? They fabricated their own God out of metal, iron, stone, whatever type of material, right? But nonetheless, they made their own God. You understand? And they're confounded by their graven image because they can't move, talk, speak. Now they can't eat, right? There's no life in that idol. All right, so every founder is confounded by the graven image, for his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. They are vanity, the work of errors. See, it's the work of errors. And the time of their visitation, they shall perish. The portion of Jacob, right? The portion of Jacob is not like them. Who's not like them? The Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, he's not like them. All right, in a sense, because the Lord moves, right? He breathes. He's a living, true God. You understand? For he is the former of all things. So the Lord is the former of all things. You understand? He is the former of all things. And Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. So the Most High is behind the scenes, and he controls everything that you see. All right, even if it's something hidden, whether it be the dark web, whatever Congress is doing behind closed doors, NASA, Area 51, the pervert down the street, and the Most High knows what's going on. He sees all of that filth. All right. Forgot which one had the 1611. Salaki, let me pull this up. All right, found it, KJ. Gone. All right, this is Book of Sirach 39 and 19. If you think Esau can see everything and is operating everything, hey, you're wrong in a sense. Right, on a high spiritual level, is always the Most High. He has his hand in everything. This is Sirach chapter 18. Where is it at? What did I say, 39? I'll get 18 first. He that liveth, whatever. He that liveth forever createth all things in general. The Lord only is righteous, and there is none other but he. who governed the whole, it's like the world with the palm of his hand. So the world is in the palm of his hand, and all things obey his will. Let's get a precept in the book of Psalms. This is Psalms chapter 103, verse 14. So like, yeah. It's like your 103 and 20. This is acting crazy. Blessed be the Lord, yea, his angels that excel in strength, that do his commandments, hearkening unto the voice of his word. See, they do his commandments and they hearken unto the voice of the Lord. So even the angels obey him. Let's go to Sirach 18:3 again. Who governeth the world with the palm of his hands, and all things obey his will. For he is the king of all, by his power dividing holy things among them from profane. To whom hath he given power to declare his works, and who shall find out his noble acts? Who shall number the strength of his majesty, and who shall tell out of his mercies? As for the wondrous works of the Lord, there may nothing be hid, it's like it be taken from them. Neither may anything be put unto them, neither can the ground of them be found out. When a man hath done, then he beginneth, and when he leaveth off, then shall he be doubtful. So the point is, the Most High is controlling everything, right? Your best friend that tripped and bust his ass, your dog that's sniffing the grass all damn day, you getting the F and your teacher giving you that F. It's the Lord doing all of that, right? He controls people, right? We're all programmed. Some of us are programmed for salvation and get to get beamed up. Others of us are programmed to bite the missile, all right? We don't know which way we're programmed and how our settings work. You understand? Let me get one of my favorite precepts. Genesis. What is that? 45:5. What is this? I can't highlight more than one. That's whack. Alrighty. This is Genesis 45. I'll start at 3. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Doth my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. And Joseph said unto his brother, Come near to me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph your brother, whom ye sold in Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved nor angry with yourselves that ye sold me hither, for God did send me before you to preserve your life. So the Most High allowed Joseph to go through all that affliction, to get risen up, just so his brothers can be delivered out of that famine. For these 2 years hath the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years in the which there shall neither be earing nor harvest. And God sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth, to save your lives by a great deliverance. Right? This isn't the first time that the Most High delivered Israel, all right, or his elect, his chosen. You understand? He did it with Jonah. He did it with Paul. He did it with the apostles. He's always delivering us out of situations. It's not of our own will. It's the Lord doing it. Let's get another precept. This is Bel and the Dragon, chapter 1, verse 35. I'll jump up. I'll start at 33. Now there was in Judea a prophet called Habakkuk. This is the same Habakkuk as you will read in the so-called Old Testament, right? The book of Habakkuk, who had made pottage and had broken bread in a bowl and was going into the field to bring it to the reapers. See, he's doing mighty works, right? He's just charitable. But the angel of the Lord said unto Habakkuk, Go, carry the dinner that thou hast into Babylon. What does it say in Psalms 103 and 20? Blessed be the Lord, yea, his angels that excel in his strength, that do his commandments. So the Lord brought that angel before Habakkuk so he can pretty much deliver and save Daniel, right? Let's continue. That do his commandments, hearken unto the voice of his word. Bless ye the Lord, all ye host. Back to Daniel. It's like back to book of Bel and the Dragon. But the angel of the Lord said unto Habakkuk, Go, carry the dinner that has taken into Babylon unto Daniel, who is in the lion's den. And Habakkuk said, Lord, I never saw Babylon, neither do I know where the den is. Then the angel of the Lord took him by the crown and bare him by the hair of his head, and through the vehemency of his spirit set him in Babylon over the den. So the Lord has the ability to grant these angels certain powers, for lack of better words, to one, to perform his miracles, and two, to either deliver Israel or set great wonders. So like, yeah. And yeah, pretty much do whatever he wants. I'll put it like that. You got certain angels going on recon missions. You got angels that controls the waters. You got angels that's over damn tsunamis and hurricanes. The Lord set up the offices in which these angels do X, Y, and Z. All right, because Most High, that's a bad man, and it all goes back to the topic, which is the Lord is in control of all things. On a high spiritual level, he's control of all things. All right, we just brought out a few precepts proving that he's allowing man to move X, Y, and Z, and during over this place and that place and that place. I'll bring out one more precept. And obviously, there's a lot more than the ones I just brought out, but time will fail us to go through the majority. So Abba this is making sense for Israel. And I'm gonna get to the main point with this as well. This is the book of Acts. I'll get to the point, verse 30. Right? Now, if you want to know what happened, hey, read the book of Acts 8th chapter. But I'll give a quick synopsis. Philip ran to the eunuch who was in his chariot reading the book of Isaiah, and he asked him to break down a certain verse, which is in the book of Isaiah. All right, starts right here. Then Philip opened his mouth and began at the same scripture and preached unto him Yahweh Shai, right? Because it's pertaining to Yahweh Shai. And as they went on their way, it's like they came into a certain water, and the eunuch said, See, here is water. What doth hinder me to be baptized? And Philip said, If thou believest with all thine heart that thou mayest. And he answered and said, I believe that Yahweh Shai is the Son of God. And he commanded the chariot to stand still. And they went down both into the water, both Philip and the eunuch, and he baptized them. And when they were come up, now obviously we understand that baptism through water isn't what saves you. But when you read in Matthew the 3rd chapter, let me get it real quick. And it doesn't have to say it in this book for us to understand that's what happened. But when you read in Matthew the 3rd chapter in the 6th verse, what does it say? And were baptized of him in Jordan, confessing their sins. When they came up the water, they confessed their sins. You don't just get dunked in the water and then you're saved. No, that doesn't work like that. If it did, the Lord wouldn't tell us to keep the commandments. Right? Paul, the apostles, there would be no order in the churches. So baptism isn't what saves you, but baptism of the word, right? The washing of water by word, right? Being submerged in the word. And once you're submerged in the word, you're obviously reading and acknowledging and applying the scriptures that you read, right? So being baptized by the word, that's ultimately what saves you. And you applying everything that you've read or everything that that makes sense. So, and plus that's symbolic for the word as well. But verse 39, and when they were come up out of the water, the Spirit of the Lord caught away Philip. The Spirit of the Lord caught away Philip, that the eunuch saw him no more, and he went on his way rejoicing. But Philip was found at Azotus. Passing through, he preached in all the cities till he came to Caesarea. So Philip kind of got righteously translated or righteously teleported, for lack of better words. Right? The Spirit of the Lord caught away Philip. He kind of just vanished, for lack of better words. It wasn't Philip that made him do it. All right, Philip didn't make himself do that. Neither was it the eunuch, but the Lord. All right. Now moving on, because we have our writers that we should have a clear understanding that the Lord is in control of all things, right? However, he sets up certain men on a carnal level to be in control of this work of this earth. Okay, there's levels and perspectives to see and view how things operate in this world and being in this truth. So like, yeah. Job 34 and 31. No, 34 and 13. That's crazy. 13 Slakia. Who hath given him charge over the earth, or who hath disposed the whole world? If he set his heart upon man, if he gathereth unto him his spirit and his breath, all flesh shall perish. Right? So if the Most High wants somebody to be a dominion of a certain land, then his will will be done. You understand? We can get that in the book of Sirach. I might have to do a part 2. This one's set up kind of weird, so bear with me. So like, yeah, jeez. Sirach chapter 10, verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings and injuries and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. All right. This verse can be seen throughout the scriptures as well. All right. With all the major captivities. For an example, you had the Egyptian captivity. Then you had the Assyrian captivity. You had the Babylonian captivity. You had the Persian Medo captivity. You had the Greek captivity. And you had the Roman captivity. And now you have this captivity. All right. Which is modern day America's captivity. Okay. And so each one fell and was translated to another people. Right. The distribution of power went from one nation into another nation. You understand? So every nation had their respective time to rule and have dominion, whether it be in a certain province, land, and or world. In this case, that'll be Esau. He has power on a carnal level over the world and how things are done. How do we know? Well, when you read in Revelation, the 18th chapter, among other verses and chapters, we know he's that whore that the Bible speaks of. Let's start at 18 and I wish it wasn't like this. This is Revelation 18 and 7. How much she has glorified that she is Babylon. It's not talking about your ex. It's not talking about your work crush. It's not talking about the sister you like in the truth. That she is indeed Babylon. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. That's the pride of Babylon, America the Great. They boast in their sword, their gun, which is their modern day gun. They boast in their military might, their teeth, which is their military might, their weaponry. They boast in their damn healthcare. They boast in everything that they have. They're monthly prognosticators, they're stargazers, they're blacksmiths. And they say, well, I'm not going to see no hurt, neither sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For strong is the Lord who judgeth her. Looks like the Lord God who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her. Right? The kings of the earth are referring to these other nations who might not be on the same level with this woman. Right? It's actually referring to who's an example? Elam, Moab, Ammon, right? Those are the kings of the earth. And for the kings of the earth who have committed fornication, live deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, because they all are partakers and benefactors of Israel going into captivity, right? They all have a hand in their pot. It's like they all have a hand in the pot. For as the scriptures say, what nation hath not had a hand in her spoils? And live deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. But we won't lament for her because she's that great whore. All right. This all goes back to proving that on a lower level, Esau is in control. He has the great authority and how things are ran and operated in this world, which is why it sucks. Because the whole nation, not only the nation of Israel, but the other nations as well, they're in the mourning. Let me get that precept. Proverbs 29 and 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people do mourn. Straight up and down like that. The people will definitely mourn. This is very much facts. Very much so. Very much true. Very, very true. Job 31. Why did I go here? Oh. It's like your Job. I'm probably looking right over it. That's fine. Let me pull it up. Job 30 and 29. Look right over it. I'm a brother to dragons and a companion to owls. Right? Just pulling that up to let you know that, again, Esau has authority and he's pretty much abusing and taking advantage of Israel in every way. You understand? When you go to restaurants, who you see in the kitchen? Jake and Israel being oppressed together, like it said in Jeremiah 15:33. When you go look at laboring, who's in the labor force? Jake and Israel, right? Being oppressed together. And Esau's not letting them go. He's not suffering their body to be put in the grave. He's moving in the same way that Pharaoh's moving. All right, that's why we call this place modern day Egypt. You know, you got modern day pharaohs because they're not letting us go. They're not suffering our body to be put in the grave. But I'm going to pause so I can do a part 2. Aparatizah. So with that, that concludes part 1 of Who is in Control. Bidders or Shalom.